Well, hello. Welcome to another edition of Ask Dave. I'm Phillip Jackson, Arctic IT's Chief Information Officer, and I have with me Dave Bailey, who's our president. And so, Dave, it's Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Last edition, we talked a little bit about identity and MFA and how to protect around that kind of stuff. And I want to kind of extend that a little bit further. So we have a lot of clients who are curious about what this conditional access thing is that Microsoft has, and how can that protect them? What kinds of things can we do to protect ourselves in this new environment? So can you maybe dive into that a little bit for us?
Sure. Conditional access is something that most of the user community wouldn't necessarily be aware of. But as IT admins, security professionals, it is a real simple thing to put in place that can definitely thwart foreign attacks. If you think about traditional access, just a few years back, if we all worked in an office building, well, we could restrict access to those four walls. It was pretty simple. We had a physical and graphical, segmentation to that security. But when we look into the cloud adoption and the wide adoption now of remote workforce, and everybody's on a laptop, a remote workstation, or even VPN access into an environment, one of the things we can do is conditional access. Simple as saying, okay, we don't want to allow any logins from outside the United States. Some people aren't even aware that, every single time you log in, there's a geography associated with where you log in. It tells us what state, what area, what region, what city, even depending on how far down we look at that telemetry. Simple thing is just saying no logins from outside the United States. You're not going to get any logins from the Middle East, Africa, China. Just stopped right there, right? No problem at all. And additionally, we also have the ability to look at trends. So artificial intelligence now has been real valuable in conditional access because it can say, you know what, 99% of the time this person is on their computer from 6 a.m. to maybe 10 p.m. at night on the East Coast, right? Most of their logins are within that time block. Well, if they're seeing a repeated attempt to log in after those hours, it can maybe not restrict them, but say, you know what, I'm going to fire off a multi-factor authentication request and have them do an extra step. Yep. So even machine learning and artificial intelligence, as it's applied to conditional access, can provide a huge level of security and protect the user in ways that they don't even aren't aware of. You're just taking that extra step.
Yeah, that's the best kind of security, right? Where we're making ourselves more secure, but it's not necessarily impacting our user population. And we do that thing here at Arctic IT. We don't allow logins from outside the US. If you're going to go on vacation, maybe, and travel abroad, you have to notify internal IT. We put you in an exception list for that period of time. And then when you come back, we remove you from that exception. There's also that, you talk about risky logins. There's that AI component where it says, okay, well, you logged in from California just 5 minutes ago, and now you're trying to log in Boston. That's not even possible. You can't be in both of those places within that period of time. And so they've really built, conditional access is a simple word, but it encompasses so much. There's so many restrictions that you can provide. Another thing we're doing here at Arctic IT is making sure it's a domain joined computer before you can access. And you kind of have that layers where you can say, okay, well, for domain joined computer to access a file, you have to be on an Arctic IT piece of equipment, but you can use webmail if you're not on so you're on on vacation, you check your webmail, that's okay. So I just think it's a powerful thing. And given, like you said, today's global workforce, and we're working from all different kinds of places. Those four walls castle analogy just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, and if you're watching this and you have more questions about it, feel free to reach out. Microsoft has now included that functionality in a lot of its product offerings in the Microsoft 365 suite, but every other cloud provider offers some level of doing that as well. There's different options. There's third parties. Most importantly is have some level of it, regardless of the brand provider. And if you have questions on it, reach out.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dave. Talk to you next time.
Ask Dave. Got a technology question you need an answer for? Send us an email at connect@arcticit.com and your question might be featured on the next edition of Ask Dave.